What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Well, I finally got my hands on the all-new ROG Xbox Ally X, and I want to put it up against the ROG Ally X to see if it's really worth that $300 price hike. So let's get into the video and find out. All right, let's get this thing out of the box. And just like last year, this is very, very similar, and I cannot wait to check it out. Now, what I'm not super excited about is that $300 price increase. And I really want to know, is it worth it? Because $300 is a lot, and you're pushing more than a regular Xbox at this point for something of this size. So is it worth paying, let's say $600, $700 for an Xbox, and then now, $1,000 for a handheld? I feel like that's really, really excessive in my book. And so I'm really interested to see if it's worth the difference between the ROG Ally X, which still is a great handheld. Now, this is supposed to have NPU support coming soon or in the future. I don't know. But let's go ahead and get this out of the box. Now, right here on the top, we have an ROG Ally paper cardboard type stand here. And that's up there on the top right there. It'll tell you, if you can see in the top down, step 1, step 2. And then right here, we've got, plug in. So you're gonna wanna plug it in and power it on. So it's not gonna power on right off the bat. Learned that last year. And here it is. This, I'm gonna be honest, just picking it up right now, it feels nice. I don't know if it feels $300 more nice, but it feels good so far. I haven't got the plastic off here yet. There we go. Let's set that over there. All right. And there it is. That does feel good. The improved ergonomics, this feels like an Xbox controller. Very, very similar. You've got your Xbox button right up here at the top, and then you've got your Armory Crate button there, and your different select mode buttons there and everything. The D-pad feels really, really good. The joysticks feel good. The triggers feel nice. You have your back programmable buttons back here. I do wish that this had the trigger travel switches back here that would set, how far the triggers traveled versus full press there. I wish that you could get a real short travel, but that's not what they did. You do have dual, the same as the ROG Ally X, and I'm gonna have to not say Xbox in there, and I apologize if I do. You've got dual, USB 4 ports up here, your volume rocker, you've got your micro SD card, and your headphone jack, of course, power, and that is a fingerprint scanner as well. And then we have supposedly improved airflow back here. Looks pretty similar to last year, I'm gonna be very honest. And let's go ahead and just see what else there is. I'm fairly sure that the only other thing in this box is going to be a charging brick, most likely. So let me get this out here. Yep. So this is a charging brick, and it's 65 watt. I'm pretty sure I'll have to find my brick and throw it up at the bottom if not, but I'm pretty sure the same exact power brick was in last year's model. And again, this does not fold. Shame on you, ROG and Xbox. Now I can blame both of you for not giving us a folding, power brick to travel with. It just, come on, we are in 2025. We should have folding power bricks. Now I'm gonna rip this off here real fast and not worry about trying to take that off nicely. There we go, because I will have to charge this. And let me check if there's anything else over here. Probably instruction manuals. And pull these out right here. Yep, and there is your instruction manuals. So pretty much you get the handheld, and you get the power brick, and you get this awesome, I say awesome, dock right there. If you wanted to put that on your desk, that would give you a stand for it, which is really cool. The other one had it too. I believe it had dual, paper ones or whatever, but I never got them out. I never used it. In fact, in all honesty, it's still sitting in my ROG, in my Ally X box. That's hard to, anyway, no pun intended there. But yeah, it's still sitting in that box, and I have not used it. This is not gonna go back in there very well. There we go. So I'll put that in there. And I will power this on. But real quick before I do that, I will go ahead and pull out my ROG Ally X, and I'll set my power brick over here. So this is my daily driver, got some fingerprints on it, been using it for a while. Love that Tomtoc case. If you have a ROG Ally X, I highly recommend it. But let's go ahead and put this here just to show you for comparison in the top down right there. I mean, this is definitely a brickier design. I'll get that word out there. The triggers feel very, very similar. Again, you've got those dual USB 4 ports up there. Same exact layout on the top as the Ally X. So very, very similar there. In fact, the ports are almost identical. This is pretty much the same, I would say, width almost. It's a little bit longer just based on the grip though. You're not getting a lot more, you know, because you don't have this flat grip over here. So it makes it a little bit longer. Now, one thing I did pick up also with this, and just to give you an idea of what it looks like, this came in yesterday, I believe, before the ROG, or before the Xbox Ally. I guess I'll have to say Xbox Ally and Ally X. That's really, yeah. So this will kind of give you an idea of what you're looking at from the top down, and I can also hold those there so you can see it there. That's the Ally X case, and this is the Xbox Ally X. And you're definitely adding some thickness. About 2 of the ROG Ally X cases, almost. Not quite, but real close there. So if space is an issue, this is definitely not going to be the handheld for you, because it's got a lot more depth to it. And so I'll go ahead and open this here, and I'll throw this up at the bottom. It's a case I picked up on Amazon. You can pick up the ROG official, you know, case for this, but this was like 25 bucks, and that one is like $70 or $60. And at the point that you are spending $1,000, I guess you could say, why would you balk at another 60 or 70? But then that turns it into an $1,100 console, and I mean, it's getting out of hand here. And one of the things I think is getting nuts is that our handhelds are not inherently more powerful than our Xboxes, or, you know, maybe a tablet and a gaming controller. It would be a whole lot cheaper, but we'll find out. So this is a case, again, I'll throw it up from Amazon, and then I did pick up, which I always have, screen protectors. I had a screen protector on this one, never had a problem. In fact, I bought a 2-pack just like this, probably the same company if you want to know the truth, and I can throw those up as well, and I've never had a problem. I mean, fingerprints, but that's just a touch screen for you. So I will get this thing set up, and I will start doing some comparisons between the Ally X and the Xbox Ally X, just to see what the differences are in actual gameplay. So it's been a few weeks, and I've had some time to test out the Xbox Ally X, and obviously, you know, I've had the Ally X now for a year, a little bit more maybe, and I just wanted to go over a couple things I've noticed in using both of these handhelds, basically side by side. I literally have had them on my bed, you know, sitting in front of me a lot like this, and, you know, I'd pick up one, I'd game on that, and then I'd pick up the other one, and I'd game on that, and I do that several times on a couple different games. And we'll get into the games that I used doing the testing in a little bit. First thing I wanted to note is that when you have the Xbox Ally X, if you are going from, you know, one to the other, you notice the improved ergonomics. 100%, it is amazing, way better. You pick up this, and it feels like a brick in your hands. After about 20 minutes, same thing with the Switch and Switch 2. Really anything that's not really ergonomic, I get like numb. My hand goes numb holding it. And so I really think that that's something that is an improvement, and if that's a problem for you, I will say definitely worth the upgrade to me in that note. I know it's, you know, $300 to not have your hand go numb, but that's a serious thing. If in about 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes you start like having, okay, I gotta shake my hand out, you know, situation, and even lightening my grip, I still have it like start to go numb. It's really weird, and it only happens with like the Switch consoles and this one. And that's why a lot of times I'll like set it down, put a controller in my hand, but this definitely has way better ergonomics, and you notice it instantly. They are using the exact same display. This is the same, it's 1080p, 7-inch display on these things. I really wish they had gone with something a little bit better, maybe a little bit better resolution, maybe OLED, maybe thinner bezels on this. The bezels are like ridiculously thick on both of these handhelds, and I feel like, if you're gonna make us pay a premium price, you should maybe give us a little bit more of a premium device. But that's just a me thing. Another thing I noticed is that the buttons have switched. So like the start select buttons, what used to be at the top on the Ally X are now at the bottom on the Xbox Ally X, and vice versa. They flipped the Armory Crate, and I'm going to call it like the menu button for Armory Crate to like select the TDP and all of that. Those have also then moved to the top, and now they've added the button obviously for Xbox, so we get kind of like this menu button or like library button now up in the right hand corner. So if you are going back and forth or you're accustomed to the Ally X, you're going to notice that a lot more. You're going to go and muscle memory will take over. You'll click it and be like, why is this not working? And then, oh, right, it's not working because I'm on the Ally X versus the Xbox Ally X. A few other things is that the speakers, and we'll do a sound test here just in a second, the speakers are definitely vastly improved to me on the Xbox Ally X. I've had the Ally X all the way up to 100, and they're good, but man, I don't run the Xbox Ally X at 100%. It will literally get you kicked out of the house. It is insane how powerful and loud those speakers are. I run them at 20, max is 35-40%. They're so loud, but they're good. It's good sound. It's just, man, they're loud. But that's kind of really the things I've noticed just in daily use of the handhelds. I have noticed, I did put the Xbox gaming experience, and I'll get this one to turn back on here. Hopefully this will do it. I did put the Xbox gaming experience on the Ally X. It's a little bit of wizardry that you have to do and going into, command prompt and a few other things. But I wanted to give the Ally X a fair shot, and I wanted to see what it was like to have that reduced load on the system for running, Windows, and to see how comparable these two are. And just to not spoil too many things, but they're pretty comparable. But I'll show you here in a minute what I mean. But yeah, honestly, they're both running the Windows experience. The Xbox experience on the handheld, and that is a vast improvement. If you're using it and you want to move between apps with the Ally X, if you get that installed, you do not have the Xbox button over here on the left-hand side, obviously on the Ally X. So you want to just swipe up. You're gaming along, just swipe up with your thumb. Either thumb works, and then just use your joysticks to swipe over left or right, left or right. It's, really easy. Now, you're gonna also have to weigh the balances. This is gonna drop down. There's gonna be Black Friday deals on this. I almost guarantee you, because this is last year's handheld, so you might be able to pick it up for 400 bucks. I mean, it's 400 bucks, but you might be able to pick it up for like 600 bucks for, 1-2 terabyte drive, depending on the thing, maybe 700. Whereas this is gonna pretty much probably stay at that $1,000 price point. And, that's a pretty big pill to swallow. And to be honest, I don't know if it's worth it yet. I'm still testing, and I'm torn between them, and I have a couple differing opinions. But let's go ahead. Let's start up a game here real fast, and I'll give us a sound test. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a sound test solely. So I won't have any gameplay showing. I'll just go ahead and fire up Helldivers just because it has a really great soundtrack, and we can kind of get an idea here. So I'll go ahead and do the Ally X first, just so that we can hear what that sounds like. And obviously you're hearing the sounds. This is 100% on the volume right there. I've got it all the way up to give, again, the Ally X as fair a shot as I can. And again, this is max sound for the game. So you hear that sound there, and I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick drop, and then I'll log out and log back in real fast. Just to give you some sound here and just do something. I'll try not to talk too much here. So, but what you'll notice here is that, and I'm just going to go ahead and ready up and drop. So that's facing away from the mic. That's going to be facing towards the mic, obviously. And I mean, that's max sound. So what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and stop here real fast. So there's your shooting sound. Max sound there. Let's go ahead, and if I can remember which one is the start button here, I think it's this one. It's that one, okay? It's so hard to remember which one is which. So I'm going to go ahead and quit game. All right, now let's do the exact same thing here. This is going to have to cancel out, and this is going to have to allow me to play because I'm on the same Steam account. Right off the bat, my goodness. Just, my goodness, the sound is night and day different between these two handhelds. And unfortunately, I don't have my top-down running right now, so I don't have like a top-down on this. And if I connect it up to my screen capture, which I'm going to be doing in a second to show you the FPS and everything, it's not going to come through. It'll be the sound through that, and it kind of ruins the sound test of the speakers here. So this is strictly to just get us a sound test of the speakers. So this is it loading up. %. 100% better. My goodness, 100% better. So I'm going to run down here. We'll do the same thing.
Mission coordinates locked.
Just nuts.
Hellpods prime.
All right, we're going to get it ready to drop here. And which one is it? There we go. The buttons. It's... Now, you're not going to ever have this close to the microphone. You're going to be out here, right? But I just want you to get a feel for what it sounds like. All right, so here's that shotgun sound again. It's just so good. It is nuts how much better it is. Let's get an orbital here. We'll do the napalm barrage.
Orbital barrage incoming. Stand clear.
Let's hear the explosions just real quick, just because these speakers are so good. Okay, so that was just a quick sound test. So I've got it hooked up here to my Gen Key and my iPad. I'm using that as a screen, and I'm gonna go ahead and tap record here and get it recording, and hopefully it doesn't glitch out on me. I've had this happen where I'm doing screen recordings, and for some reason, the game hates me and will not, I say the game, but the iPad and Gen Key's Studio app gives me issues. But anyway, we're gonna start off with the Ally X since it was, the first one, and we're gonna go ahead and do some testing here. And let me go ahead, I'll set this up to 100. Let me turn up the volume just a little bit here so I can actually hear something. There we go. And we'll go into the graphics settings and see. Now this is Cyberpunk 2077, and I'm not gonna do anything crazy. I'm just gonna run around a little bit. And in the interest of time, not gonna get too big into it. But you'll notice here, 80% of my GPU there. And if we hit this button right here, wrong button again. The buttons, man, the buttons are getting to me because I go back and forth and I'm like, which button am I on? So you can see there, I'm 25 watt TDP, and I do have CPU boost is on, and I've got AMD RIS on. Max is frame limiter, so just max as high as we can go here. Real-time monitor off, but that's because I'm running my actual frame monitor over here. And so MSI, if I remember correctly. And so let's go ahead and run this over here. And okay, we're on Steam Deck. So I will start it on what the Xbox Ally X actually defaulted me to when I first started this game up. Both handhelds did something completely different, which was interesting. The Ally X defaulted me, cloud save and everything between the same Steam account, defaulted me to Steam Deck on the Ally X, but ray tracing low on the Xbox Ally X. So really, really interesting. So I'll go ahead and leave that on ray tracing low. We can get an idea of the frames here, and we'll load this up. And one thing that I've noticed is that there's not a whole lot of difference. They are both rocking that 24 gigs of RAM. I think I have them both set to, I think I have them up at 16, which is kind of overkill, and I'm gonna drop them back down to 10 because I don't need 16, but I do have that set up there. Let me go ahead here, and all right, we're starting right here, and as you can see, we're at 45 frames a second, not anything crazy. We're not hitting 60 frames a second, definitely not. I'm sprinting, dropping all the way down to that 40 there. Let's see here. Look at some of the signs here. We'll sprint back down here. Look at some fire. There's your fire details. Now, we are up at 50. We do get up to 50 here in this. And let me run down here real fast and throw a grenade into a hallway. That doesn't seem to attract too many cops. And I can switch over here. There's a gun here. That's what that looks like. Yeah, people are panicking. I mean, if you're firing a gun on an open street, people are probably gonna panic. Yeah, just seems legit to me. Unfortunately, there's a gentleman in this hallway. I really wish there was not a gentleman in this hallway. Maybe it's not a gentleman. Anyway, I'm gonna throw my grenade down there, and there's explosions for you. I mean, it's not bad, 42 frames a second. Let me go ahead here real fast, and I will, wrong button. Again, the memory, the muscle memory that I've developed on the Xbox Ally X does not carry over to the Ally X, and it's frustrating. Let's go over here. We'll go down to Steam Deck, and we will lower this down. Now, again, I'm using a lot of default settings, and I will tell you that Steam Deck settings is where I notice that this shines. It's, a handheld, so it is meant to shine on the Steam Deck, and hopefully the screen recording is actually coming through, because I'm watching it on the screen here, and the screen recording seems a little chuggy. But, we're getting 65, spiking up to 70 frames a second every now and then. Nothing too bad. Let's go ahead and let's switch over now to a different game. We'll switch over to Helldivers 2 and just do a quick game there. And then one thing here, I can see that's me swiping up. Really cool that you can do that. You just swipe up, and then that gets you into your app switcher here, and you can switch between apps and Armory Crate and stuff. So let's go ahead and load up Helldivers real fast. And we'll just get this a super fast load up here and show you some of the specs there. Now, again, Helldivers isn't super optimized for really anything. And so you tend to have to tweak those settings depending on your hardware. So I'll run over here real fast. And as you can see, I mean, the lighting's good. This has got some pretty good detail, a little bit of chopping over there on the side of the helmet. Let me go ahead and make sure I do not hit the wrong button here, because if I hit the wrong button, the whole game will crash. So graphics, we are on Steam Deck, and we are rocking balanced on our render scale there. Now, I've noticed that that's the way to get about 50 frames a second on here, and if I lower it anymore, it starts to get really questionable. And again, I'm just gonna do a quick drop. Nothing too, exuberant, not gonna get into a whole bunch of missions or anything. And just to show you some gameplay if you were playing, what you would be doing and what the graphics might be. Again, this is the Ally X. So what the Xbox Ally X does is very interesting, because here we're seeing, 50 frames a second. We were at 45 frames a second. And we're kind of hanging at that 50, but this is also the loading screen. So not really a good test on our, frame rate. And I gotta say, I love the soundtrack of this game. It's great. It is a great soundtrack. Very epic. So let's drop in here. So again, hitting 60, 70 frames a second. Again, this is on Steam Deck settings. And we'll go ahead and I'll do kind of like what I did with the sound test. I'll go ahead and run up here. So you're getting some decent, graphics on your character, on distance, view distance, stuff like that. Nothing great, because if you look off in the distance there, that's a very low light. It's not really bright, and I know on the PlayStation 5, it's a lot brighter, and you notice it. Let's go ahead and drop some napalm here, and I am way too close for this. And we'll just watch this explosion here, show you what might happen if you were in some explosions. And so you can see that the frame rate, or I say the frame rate, but the graphics are not great. It's the flames are really kind of bad. I am running through a napalm barrage, which is probably the worst. It is the worst idea in the world. I will go ahead real quick and just bump this up to a, let's say high here. Let's go ahead and apply that, and we'll see how low this goes. So 45, okay, hold on, if it'll load up. Oh, okay. There we go, so 42 frames a second. 30, like that's unplayable. So really Steam Deck on this, and this is the Ally X. So let's go ahead, I will stop this here, the shenanigans, and we will switch over to the Xbox Ally X, and I'll kind of do the same test, and then we'll put them side by side. One thing that I wanna note is that I really have not noticed a huge difference between these two handhelds. It's really, really hard to tell the difference, and they are both, you know, on that 25 watt TDP. They're both rocking. This has RIS off. I guess I could, you know, to make it even, I'll turn that on so it's the same. 1080p resolution. You know, there may be a few settings I have different, but even that doesn't change. I've been trying to tweak the settings and get things to work, and in terms of, you know, better frame rates, better resolution out of this, and I'm just not seeing it. Now, they do have that NPU in here, and possibly that's something that may be coming down the you know, road where this is going to give this a big edge over something with, you know, a Z1 Extreme, because you have that neural processing unit in here. It's just sitting there. And as far as I'm aware, it's the only handheld with the Z2 Extreme chipset in it that has that NPU. I don't know of any that I've seen, and there may be one out there and maybe I missed it, but I don't think the MSI Claw has it. I don't think the Legion Go 2 has it. I don't think the Legion Go, any of those series with, you know, Steam Deck and all that, I don't think those have them, or SteamOS that I remember. So real quick here, and I'm rattling on, we will start this in where its default was, which was ray tracing, much like when we started that one in Steam Deck and went to ray tracing. So we're gonna do kind of that in reverse there. And I'll go ahead and hit continue here. And again, you can see we're at that 77%, you know, not using a ton of our GPU. And this is not plugged in, by the way. I'm not running this off of power. So this is strictly battery power. And really the main reason for that is to show you what this would be like on the go. You're going to be using these handhelds as handhelds. Plugged into the wall and plugged into, you know, a docking station is great, and maybe I'll make a short or something showing you some of the frame rates there. But I feel like that's something that, you know, you need to kind of, you can check out later, or I can check out later and show you later, but this would be more of you holding on, you know, holding this on a plane, playing it on a plane. I mean, maybe you had a battery bank or something, but you're gonna have to have a pretty decent one to get that up to that range. Maybe that Anchor would do it, or the new Anchor, I should say. But here again, we're at 40 frames a second. Now this is ray tracing low. We are at that 44, 45 frames a second, 42. It's dropping all over the place. And we can see here, let's see about the resolution. I mean, it's okay. It's not terrible. And they're similar. This is not too far off. And I will go ahead here and run down. We'll go ahead and throw a grenade in the hall. I tend to do this quite a bit. Make people freak out here. I did not fire my gun here. Oh, well, somebody's calling the cops. Oh, that's, well, okay, that ended badly. Okay, he left, cool. All right, so let me go ahead. I'll throw the grenade down here. So there's, you know, what it looks like. It's not bad graphics, it's pretty good. Let me go ahead and hit, I ran into the wall there. Let me go ahead and hit settings here, and we will change this down to Steam Deck. And there we go, you know, 75 frames, 70, you know, we're holding at that like almost 70 frames a second, which really is pretty good. And this is the Steam Deck setting, so definitely we're not getting that ray tracing. I mean, that was 90 frames a second, so a little bit better. And I didn't look up a whole lot in the other one, and maybe I should have. I don't tend to look up too much in this game, I'll be honest. I'm always looking in front of me, running, driving, whatever it may be. But yeah, I don't notice a huge difference. This is, I mean, 70 frames a second, that's what the Xbox Ally, or the ROG Ally X was doing, right? Like it's not doing a whole lot different. Let's go ahead and, again, man, the buttons just get me every time. Let's quit this game here. and I will switch over to Helldivers 2, and we will go ahead and check that out. Again, I'm doing this, but I'm going to be honest, this is more to show you. I've been testing this the last couple weeks, and I'm not seeing the huge difference. What I'm not seeing is I'm not seeing that, you know, $1,000 price tag difference. If I'm going to pay $1,000, and mind you, I will probably keep this just because I'm going to sell my old one and I'll use it for testing, and then, you know, next year's model comes out and I'll test that one versus that, and, you know, that's what I'll do. But if I was in the market for me, for like, you know, money was something, and as money is to me, right? My credit cards hate me at the moment. But if I was in the market for a handheld and I'm having to decide between, you know, this handheld for, you know, $700, $800, whatever this one is, and probably used in good condition, I could pick it up for, you know, $700, $600 or so, maybe even under that, depending on, you know, where I get it, Black Friday deals. And this one at $1,000, I mean, I'd probably go right now. Just telling you off the bat, I'd probably be going with the Ally X. That's just me. That's my take right now, and where I'm at in the testing. So let me go ahead. I'll fire this up. I do want to hit start here real fast. Run over to my display settings. So we are on Steam Deck, and we are on balance. So again, we're balanced. We're at 50 frames a second. Very similar. Like the frames are probably so close that it's just not worth it. And sorry, on my screen recording, I noticed over here it's cutting off a side over there, so it's not capturing the right aspect ratio, but you know, whatever. And to note that they both are that 17 by 9 aspect ratio. So if you're someone who cares about aspect ratios and wants, you know, a certain aspect ratio, that is what the Xbox Ally X and the ROG Ally X are in. Pretty standard though, you know, 17 by 9. And so here again, you know, I'm seeing 70 in the, you know, I say the trailer, the wrong thing. In the loading screen, I'm seeing 70, 80 frames a second. Like, I saw that, and I can throw up the clip, you know, of the ROG Ally X, and loading in here, again, 70 frames a second, but I'm on Steam Deck. Like, I'm on the Steam Deck settings, and, you know, it's good, it's you know, playable. This is very, very playable. I can't climb that for some reason. I don't know why that prompt didn't show up there. There we go. And again, you can see there. Let's go ahead and let's bump up the graphics here just a little bit more. Let's see if we can get anything else out of this. So I'll bump this up to, well, let's leave it on Steam Deck. I know from experience that Steam Deck and native quality tend to give you the best, there you go, like the best resolution. But I mean, we're talking 40, 50 frames a second. There's some bugs over there. Let's serve them some managed democracy here and watch the glorious explosions. And apparently I don't have my other salutes on. But I mean, it's definitely playable. This is not anything to write home about, but it is definitely playable. And I am out of stems. I'm gonna get on the ground so I don't burn to death. But yeah, I mean, 40 frames a second, 50 frames a second. We've got the ability to switch this up here. I could drop this back down again over here to quality balanced. I mean, I could hit this to ultra performance and it looks like garbage. And I can get all the way up to 80, 90 frames a second, you know, depending on the game. But it's not, it looks like a potato. And I definitely would not play. I wouldn't recommend paying $1,000 to play, you know, any game that looks like that. So I'll go ahead and leave that at balance. But balance is still, we're seeing that same resolution there, that 70, you know. Now there's 80, okay, it's spiked up to 80 there. So a little, it's minutely higher. And that's what I've noticed, like maybe 4 frames, 5 frames a second higher, but it's not anything. Oh, and that's my nuke pistol. Well, that's that. So yeah, I'll go ahead and wrap up with that there on my screen recording. Let me go ahead and stop it here. But that is kind of my big issue with this is that Xbox is, and ROG, they say, you know, market research, and I understand these things are a pain in the butt to get a hold of right now. I think November was the farthest out I saw, and I actually have to return mine because my LCD panel over here is actually like the screen is like delaminated or something in the right-hand side. You can see like pixels, like it's got a white look when everything else around it is black. So I'm gonna have to return this anyway to get that repaired. But ROG says that this handheld is, market research shows $1,000 is fine. And Xbox says, well, we wanted it lower. And my honest opinion is, I don't know what market research they're doing. I understand they are sold out, so clearly people are buying them, but like it's $1,000 for 4-6 frames more a second. I mean, I guess. The speakers, oh my goodness, difference. I mean, oh my goodness. Ergonomics, again, night and day between these two handhelds. Ports are the same, sticks are the same pretty much, button layout is the same, and buttons are the same, rear buttons are the same. We don't have selectable trigger switches, which we see in the Legion Go series, and I really, really love that. I can't believe they didn't put that here, especially since, again, my Pro controller has that. Like, come on, Xbox, ROG, why? And so, like, there's things that I feel like don't make this a premium handheld. The Series X, you know, that top of the line price tag, top of the line console, it's good, it's an upgrade over this, but I feel like it's kind of, and this is coming from an Apple person, it's kind of one of those like incremental step ups. Like, you know, you're on the iPhone, you know, 14 Pro Max, and then the 15 Pro Max comes out, right? And it's like, well, okay, I get a little bit better camera and I get a little bit better this, and I feel like that's what they did here. It's just a very incremental step. They didn't put the polish and the pro features into this that I feel like for an Xbox carrying that X title, because that's really what they're playing off of here, even though I know this has, you know, Ally X over here. But they're trying to make this the, you know, Series S, Series X type situation, the white handheld and the, you know, the black handheld. But I don't feel like it's worth the money. So that's just my rant. That's my opinion. I will probably be keeping this. Now that is literally because I want to make YouTube videos with this. I, you know, am going to use this next year, so I'm going to sell this one. It's only a year old. I've kept it in pristine condition. I don't drop it. I mean, I take care of my stuff, and so I'm going to flip this and then, you know, put that money towards this. So it's not going to cost me as much to upgrade. Obviously, I'm losing money in the, you know, the deal, but it doesn't cost me as much out of my pocket. But if you are someone who is coming from the Ally X, unless you just have to have the newest top tier, you know, greatest thing, I don't feel like the Xbox Ally X is enough of a jump yet to say, hey, take this, unless you're in my boat and you want to sell it, you know, you have the extra $400 lying around, or 300, depending on obviously what you can get for this. I just don't feel like it's that much of a jump. Even docked, I've docked both of these. I played this one for, you know, the last year, and Helldivers 2 and a couple other games docked, and on my, you know, 4K, tried different things, and it's bad for it. It doesn't like it. It runs okay. It just, like, once you get into serious gameplay, it kind of just tanks, and you got to play on potato mode. But if you're running this one, I've noticed it's a little bit better in docked mode, maybe than the Z1 Extreme, which we would expect, right? It's a better processor. But it's not enough to make me go, oh my goodness. But that's just my take. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it. I enjoyed my time with the Xbox Ally X and obviously my ROG here. Love ROG. I like their products. I will be testing out the Legion Go 2 and doing a comparison against this guy right here and seeing what the differences are. I'm really interested to check out that OLED and the bigger display and kind of see what that's like, because maybe it makes me send this one back, because I got to send it back anyway for the screen issue, and keep the Legion Go. I mean, I had talked about that earlier, like, you know, in my Legion Go S video, that I was waiting for the Legion Go 2. Like, that was what I was kind of weighing the balances between this and the Legion Go. So we'll see, and keep an eye out for that video. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe, share, and we will see you in the next video.